If you pay attention to weather, you've likely heard about atmospheric rivers. But what are they? Where did they come from? Have they always been around? Atmospheric rivers are exactly what they sound like. Rivers in the sky. Basically, it's a conveyor belt of water vapor that can produce heavy amounts of rain and snow and is a key feature in the entire global water supply. They begin in the warm Pacific Ocean, where a lot of water evaporates into the air. And when this moisture meets up with the storm system, the water vapor is concentrated and driven towards the coast. And despite the outsized role they play in our water supply, these things aren't that big. They're only about 300 to 400 miles wide, and they generally move below where planes fly. Anyways, once it reaches the mountains along the west coast, that collision squeezes additional rain and snow from the system. Kind of like wringing out a wet rag. ARs are measured on a scale of 1 to 5. Weaker ones are incredibly beneficial and help refill reservoirs and keep soil moist. But the higher end of ARs can cause flooding and trigger landslides. Even though the term atmospheric river was first coined back in the 90s, these things have always been around. In fact, it was back-to-back atmospheric rivers that caused California's Great Flood of 1862. The area had just been through a crippling drought. But when the rains finally came in November, they continued nearly uninterrupted for 4 months, turning California's Central Valley into an inland sea, forcing the state's new governor to attend his inauguration by rowboat. And some experts say that California's next big one may not be an earthquake, but a flood. Because according to geologic evidence, these types of floods have occurred in California every 100 to 200 years. So if the last one was back in 1862, we're almost overdue. On top of all of that, the warming climate is changing how these storms behave. Research predicts that climate change will cause atmospheric rivers to become 25% longer and 25% wider, meaning they can carry more water. This could make managing water supplies much harder because the weak to moderate atmospheric rivers that are way more helpful will happen less. Okay. All of that sounds really scary, but thankfully, forecasts are constantly improving, and that can help us prepare for the future. In fact, the US Army Corps of Engineers is testing new and improved weather forecasts to help manage some of the nation's largest reservoirs to store more water and prevent floods. More work on the program is still needed, but this is promising because better forecasts can give officials the opportunity to make smarter water management decisions, like knowing when to keep water in or when to let water out.